Mommy, Daddy, I think I found the perfect pet. Wah, 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 wah. No, it's not a dog, it's not a cat, it's not even a turtle. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, it's called flea monkeys. Yeah, see, you entered the world in this ad right here for only $1. They'll send me a whole package. I don't even have to have a terrarium. I don't have to have anything other than the package. Listen to what it says. Enter the wonderful world of amazing live flea monkeys. Open a pouch full of happiness, instant pets. Just add water, that's all. In 1 second, or 2, or 3, amazing flea monkeys actually come to life. Yes, they hatch almost instantaneously, sometimes right before your eyes. Now simply grow and enjoy the next adorable pets you're ever to bring smiles and laughter and fun into your child's life. No. Look, it says so right here on the thing. They're eager to please and they can even be trained. I could have a sea monkey circus if I wanted to. Look, it says it right here. They're frolicsome. They're jumping all around. They're fun to watch, fun to play with family and friends. And they're for hours and hours and hours of adorable petting time fun. That's right, young ones. You can get your order of flea monkeys only for $1. Brought to you by the What's the Matter You novelty line. Patent pending. Send $1 with this ad to Moron de la Frontera, New Mexico. And they're all yours. Disclaimer set up by our lawyers, Huey Lewis, from Dewey, Chim, and Howe. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. And what a weird week.
That is not the adjective I would use, but okay, yes.
Let's just say it's the safest one today. Because I'm pretty sure we've all come up with a few words to describe the week. You know?
I won't say them so you don't have to cut this month's episode.
Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate that. Oh my gosh. So, we've got our news monkey who has given us pretty much some interesting items here. Mail's in.
Hey, monkey, no smoking in the house, man.
You know, that's the problem. You just basically rescue them from all these labs. You know, they still want a pack of Newports and a gin tonic. You know,
the gin tonic I'm fine with. It's
that smoking. He's got to go. You know, it's sad when you get used to the feces throwing and you have to deal with the smoke of the cigarettes.
Wow. No comments.
No comment.
No editing.
No editing, that's right. Okay. Well, back with us this month is Jerome Montgomery.
Thanks for having me back.
Oh, no, thank you. You know, it's always a great time when we have no idea what's going to be said, no matter what we decide to put on paper. You know, every month is this, and it's fun. That's what makes it fun. So, I'm sure we'll have some editing and some public service announcements later in the show. But to mention specifically, like I said, the News Monkey did drop off some items that I thought were pretty interesting, just from a standpoint from the art world. The first thing we're running around the internet was the fact that Iranian cartoonist Atena Farghadani, she did get sentenced to 12 years for drawing a disparaging cartoon against the public officials of Iran.
Well, you know, it eventually goes, you know, from Muhammad. You can't draw him.
Yeah.
You know, you can't draw Allah. Cannot do it.
Yeah.
But then eventually, when you have that type of government and those type of fundamentalists, the boundaries go out further and further and further. Or should I say they come in closer and closer.
Closer and closer, tighter. The only thing I do want to say, though, I'll mention this as a quote off the article that I was able to read. They described her, actually, this was amazing enough, they described her as, she's truly an angel. She just loves people and animals, and besides all her artistic talent, she is such a strong supporter of human rights. She says, I hope Atena's case is a wake-up call for the international community, and that they put the human rights on top of their agenda
in their dialogue with the Iranian authorities. And that was Mahmoud Amiri Moghadam of the Iran Human Rights League.
It's crazy to think her name is spread as a result of cartoon. I mean, she's done many wonderful things to help humanity, doing things quietly and not wanting credit.
You know, but like I said, sometimes it's that exposure that gets people noticed. And I'm not saying that she did that intentionally for that reason. No doubt she had her own reasons for going through the cartoon. And that's fine. I'm not going to question that. I'm not judging that. I'm not making a statement of that, okay? But the problem that I find it to be is now other people are taking it for their cause. If she wanted to do it, fine, let her do it. But I don't need a league to take up the cause.
Well, it's like, this is a quote from someone else. What you call an insult to representatives of the parliament by means of cartoon, I consider to be an artistic representation of our home nation, which does not... Sorry. I consider to be an artistic expression of our home in our nation, which our nation does not deserve. Oh. I guess I read that wrong. You might want to cut that because that didn't make sense after I read it. Well, in other words, it's an artistic expression for her, and people are trying to take it as an insult to Parliament.
Exactly.
Whereas in America, we can get away with that. You know, we can make cartoons about Obama and George Bush and the Senate.
Plus, sometimes a cartoon is just a cartoon. It doesn't need meaning attached to it that wasn't intended. That's kind of my point. You know, and that's the whole thing with, it's in the news. I mean, it was politics, then it was the military, and now it's regime holders, and you know, they're running out of things to argue about, so let's attack the arts, and let's put them under the microscope, and you know, you better not do this, or you better not do that. Sometimes a cartoon is just meant to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all drew them in high school on the home ec table,
you know,
and didn't expect to be, you know, chastised.
We have a mutual friend who's, you know, right upstairs.
Yes.
She went to school to be a photographer, you know, to get a photography degree. And one of her professors asked her why she took this photo. What was the meaning behind the photo?
Yeah.
And she simply said, because it was a pretty shot.
There you go.
And he failed her because he wanted it to have meaning that wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, it was an
aesthetically
something
pretty picture.
Exactly.
A moment.
And, you know, a lot of people, like you're saying, are trying to find a hidden meaning that's not there. You know, sometimes it just is what it is.
Yeah, sometimes they kind of said it better myself. It is what it is. You know, but then, you know, that's the crazy thing. Even with the whole next item that we were talking about with Sonny Liu, you know, the Malaysian government basically gave him a grant to publish a book, an independent book. Well, then he actually did it, and then they suddenly read it. And they started pulling everything off. Their National Arts Council pulled and revoked the grant, the $8,000 publication grant, because of what they called sensitive content. Sonny's book was called The Art of Charlie Chan Hok Chai. It was actually several award winnings, you know, by this Singapore artist. He's a satirical artist. You know, when you put it out there and you award somebody knowing that that's their venue, you might want to read what they're planning on doing, without making you, because now they look stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Not only in their country, but now here, because you know what happened? His entire graphic novel has sold out, the entire first printing. You know, the 10,000 copies are sold because they revoked their $8,000 grant. They helped make him another public item.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't asked for it, but is now given meaning with something that doesn't necessarily want it. Now, he obviously wanted people to buy his book and wanted the store because of what it was selling, you know. But do you want to know what was really the whole point of this? The founding Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew and his political rival Lin Chim-seong appear in the 340-page book in cartoon form. That was it. They were just drawn in cartoon form, and they thought that was too sensitive a material. They didn't want to be represented in that way, and so they revoked the actual grant Now, Mr. Senior Director of the Literary Arts Section of the National Council, Kor Kakwa, that's his name, Mr. Kor Kakwa. Yeah, don't even touch that.
That
He said, and I quote,
needs no joke.
No, it doesn't. He says, we had to withdraw the grant when the book, The Art of Charlie Chan Hok Chai, came out because its sensitive content, depicted in visuals and text, did not meet our funding conditions. The council will continue to support and work with Epigram, a leading publisher in Singapore literary works, on other projects.
Problem is, they probably just saw his artwork and didn't pay attention to what his content was.
Exactly.
They did not read. They just saw. Ooh, pretty. Print. No. It just...
They most likely found an artist who was an application who had something ready to go to work to be printed, and they needed to spend the money, so otherwise they were going to be spent on something else, and didn't pay attention to what they were doing. And unfortunately, that does happen when government officials get put in charge of allotting, humanities and arts. And it happens all the time.
But who are we to judge? I mean, that is another country.
Exactly.
So,
well, good for Sonny, though. He is working with DC Comics now on the new Dr. Fate series, so he has gained some notoriety, and nothing else. They hired him because of it. So maybe there's a balancing of the scales there in the art world. I wish him the best.
yeah.
And if Dr. Fate sucks, then I'll complain about that. Because who knows what's going to happen with all this convergence garbage. Between the Secret Wars and the convergence garbage, who knows what's going to happen on anything.
After I started reading into the convergence to see what it was, and undoubtedly it seems that there was some issues in one of the universes, and Brainiac was put in charge of settling it, I guess. So he's bringing every single timeline together. And that just... been there, done that.
Oh.